Hi kids, it's Christmas Eve. Well, at least it is while I'm shooting this. I don't know when the video's coming out. We're in that weird limbo between sort of Christmas and the New Year, so I don't know where I am. I'm not very good with dates, I never have been. Anyway, if you've just joined us, hello, welcome to new subscribers. Thank you for joining, welcome aboard. I hope you find something you like. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Give us a follow. That way we can take over the world together and you won't be the first up against the wall. Did I say that out loud? Never mind. For this video, I'm going to try and list my current, that's the disclaimer, top 10 favorite sci-fi TV shows, TV only. It's really hard. In fact, it's impossible. There are so many, and I tend to like older stuff because I'm very old. That doesn't mean I don't like new stuff. Anything I haven't mentioned doesn't mean I haven't seen it. Although there are lots of new things I haven't seen. There are things I've seen once or twice. There are things that I really wanted to put on the list, but something else just edged it out. Don't get me wrong. I love almost all TV sci-fi. This channel is essentially lots and lots of sci-fi stuff. By the way, after my top 10, I'm going to make an honorable list of things that didn't quite squeeze into the top 10, but they did to begin with until I thought of other things that squeezed them out. You know what I mean? Honorable mentions, as it were. So let's get into my top 10 sci-fi shows as of my current state of mind, December 2025. At number 10, very topical at the moment, Buck Rogers in the 25th century. It's topical because we've just lost lead man Gil Gerard. I love this show. It was very cheesy. It wanted to be a bit Star Trek, especially in the second season, which no one really liked. But it had its amazing bit of charm. It had a nice style about it. It was Glenn A. Larson's other creation on top of Battlestar Galactica. And Buck was a charismatic leading man. Tweaky was a cute robot who nowadays you look back and go, interesting choice for a head. And Wilma was just, everyone remembers Wilma. She made spandex so popular. What can I say about it? It was just fun. It was silly in places. It was very cool in places. And the TV movie was a lot sort of darker and had moments of peril and stuff that the TV series kind of stayed away from. But it was just great fun. Number 9, The Prisoner. The late 60s brought a very trippy time for everyone with Woodstock and the hippie movement and all sorts of mind-expanding stuff. So Patrick McGoohan came up with The Prisoner. He'd been really famous for doing a show called Danger Man, and his follow-up was The Prisoner, where his character, only known as Number 6, is thrown into a very trippy little town, Port Myrin, by the way, in North Wales, and is always trying to escape but never able to. To this day, it's very stylish, it's very odd, it's very surreal, it's not completely understood. I went through a massive thing at the start of this year where I really got into the show to the point where I had the costume and everything. It kind of weirdly fizzled out, but I've finally now seen The Prisoner and its remake, which not a lot of people like, but I think is okay. But it's just a massive, weird, of its time classic. And it's a fun watch. Number 8, Red Dwarf. This is the only comedy in my list, but this could easily be up and down. Again, it's the BBC, it's low budget, much like Doctor Who and Hitchhikers, and it hits gold every time. It's mined, no pun intended, because it's set aboard a mining ship. It's mined every type of sci-fi conceit, from holograms, tropes, alternate universe, time travel, dimensions, all this kinds of stuff. And it's just funny. 4 of the best characters you'll ever see. You've got Rimmer, who's the officious, obnoxious, weaselly little bureaucrat type. You've got Dave Lister, who's our hero, who's basically Liverpudlian slob who likes his beer, his curry, and his poetry and his guitar. And you've got Kat, who is vain, it's highly strung, fashion conscious, and you've got Crichton, the poor downtrodden, put upon, and quite nerdy robot. And I love a good robot. Red Dwarf is just mwah. Number 7, Battlestar. Stop the press. This video was done. It was finished. It was uploaded many hours ago. It's now 11:30 on Christmas Eve, and I was watching a YouTube video of TV themes and stuff, and it dawned on me that I completely forgot about this next entry, which is going in now at number 7. Number 7 in my original list was Battlestar Galactica, which I do love very much, but I could not forget about the Orville. Yes, the Orville is a love letter, homage, tribute, whatever you want to call it, to Star Trek. It's very much the next generation in its feel, to the point where it shares some of the creators. But Seth MacFarlane knocked it out the park with the Orville. It became really beloved. First season was a lot more goofy because it was a comedy space show. Second season, Seth MacFarlane rather wisely decided, hey, people are resonating with the sci-fi elements more than the comedy. So he toned the comedy down. There's still comedy in it, but it's a lot more subtle, and I think it's better for it. I love the Orville. I remember just very excited every week knowing the Orville was coming on telly. And I would cancel everything in order to watch my episode of the Orville. It was my feel-good show of the week, so I have to put the Orville in. Sorry to Battlestar Galactica. I'm not going to move all the others down the list, but I'm dropping the Orville in at number 7. Number 6, Star Trek The Next Generation. Widely regarded as the best of all Star Trek shows. I have not watched the newer ones. I've watched a couple of episodes of Discovery and a couple of episodes of the other one, Strange New Worlds. Don't really do it for me. Never watched Lower Decks. Don't like the idea of it. Anyway, never mind. The Next Generation. What an absolute joy. Was it 8 seasons? Was it more than that? It was a lot. It was a lot of episodes. And at the time, not many people thought it would work out. The very first season has got a lot of interconnective tissue with the Trek show, the 1966 Kirk show. And it took a while to break away from that and become its own thing. But again, it's to do with characters, isn't it? Characters and fun stories. It's like no one would have thought, after the heroic William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk, that we would put a slightly older, balding Frenchman with an English accent in the role of the captain. And not only does the name, James T. Kirk trip off the tongue, we've got Jean-Luc Picard. What universe would that work? But it did. It worked incredibly well. And instead of having Spock, we had Data, another classic, beloved android character. You had Riker, the number 1. First time we had a proper number 1 on the deck. You had Counselor Troy, shut up, Wesley Crusher, Geordie LaForge, Beverly Crusher, later Dr. Pulaski, Guinan, Q. How good was Q? And things like the Borg. It's like catnip to a robot geek like me. The Borg, man. Well, you can put on any episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and just lose yourself for 45 minutes. It's just phenomenally good. And I don't think it'll be beaten as far as a Star Trek TV show. No matter how much budget you throw at it, no matter how many celebs or CGI or whatever you throw at it, you're not going to be able to beat The Next Generation. I really loved Voyager. I didn't mind Deep Space Nine. I really liked Enterprise. I know I have weird takes, but The Next Generation, it's number 6, but it could easily be number 1. We're at number 5 already. This one nearly didn't make the list until I remembered it and went, what am I thinking? This has got to go in the list. Tron Uprising. The long, what's the word, late lamented Tron TV series, done in a massively weird stylistic CGI, cel-shaded, but faithful to Tron Legacy's movie style. Huge budget, incredible cast, and treated really badly by Disney, as Tron always is. And if you haven't seen Tron Legacy, Tron Uprising, essentially it's a superhero show where a young kid called Beck, who by day is a mechanic, but at night he puts on a white Tron outfit and calls himself the Renegade and fights against Clue and his evil regime. It's just phenomenal. There's only 19 episodes. It got, cancelled. It really needs more in it, but it's got the cast is incredible, and of course we got to see a lot of Tron himself, voiced by Bruce Boxleitner. Check it out. Number 4, I'm surprised this hasn't been my number 2 spot. Blake 7. Once again, BBC, 70s, 80s, low budget. Created by Terry Nation, who was also responsible for creating the Daleks, a Welshman, by the way. Blake 7 is a Robin Hood story. It's a bunch of merry men with an agenda to take down the government. They've got a very powerful spaceship, but that's about all they've got. They're bickering with each other. They're never in agreement on what they want to do. They're just trying to take down the Federation, led by the incredibly seductive and glamorous Servalan, played by the late great Jacqueline Pearce. Many of the members of Blake 7 are no longer with us. Big Finish have done a lot of Blake 7 stuff. I just love the aesthetic. It's cheap. I always said it's the show that the BBC made with their spare change that they found down the back of the sofa after making Doctor Who. But it's not that the sets were a bit shonky and the creatures were a bit shonky and it was all, filmed either in the brightly lit studio or a forest somewhere. It's just that the scripts were just really like smart and fast and witty. And if you haven't been subjected to the amazing wit of Kerr Avon, played by the late great Paul Darrow, you're missing out, because he's just the best. By the way, if anyone from Big Finish is watching, I do a really half decent, and you know this because I won a competition doing it. I do a decent Kerr Avon impression, and I would happily voice Avon in any future Big Finish productions of Blake 7. Don't ask, you don't get. Number 3, I did say earlier on with Red Dwarf that there was no comedy, but this is basically a comedy. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Never mind the movie with Martin Freeman. They tried valiantly, but it's not that great. I'm sorry, but it's not that great. It's lacking in humor. It's lacking in something. I think they tried to do too much with it, or not enough with it. But let's go back to the TV show. Again, low budget, BBC, 1981. It gave us the blocky, bulky Marvin, who I love dearly with all my heart, voiced by the late, great Stephen Moore. I'm saying late, great a lot because there are very late people who are very great. The incredible Zaphod Beeblebrox, who was doing a kind of a Jack Sparrow space pirate long before anybody else was, as the two-headed Zaphod. He was just so cool. Most of the radio, it started off as a radio show. Most of the cast moved over to the TV show, except for the Ford Prefect character, played in the TV show by David Dixon, played in the by Jeffrey McGivern in the radio show. But I mean, it's just phenomenal. Oh, and also Trillian, played by Peter Davison's ex-wife, Sandra Dickinson, voiced by in the radio show, Susan Sheridan, I think. Yeah, it's funny, it's clever, it's Douglas Adams. What more can you want? Number 2 has to be Firefly. Say what you like about Joss Whedon. Personally, probably not the nicest of people when you dig deep, but professionally, guy knocks it out the park. Firefly, I was very dubious about it. I loved Buffy, I loved Angel, and I was like, what's he doing next? And then someone said sci-fi. I thought, great. What's this going to be? Some kind of Star Trek thing? And he said, we're not having any aliens in our sci-fi. I'm like, what? This is going to be rubbish. Oh, and by the way, it's a Western. Oh, I'm not watching this. This is terrible. It's absolutely phenomenal. The writing is top notch in every single episode. Again, messed around by, I think it was Fox, aired in the wrong order. But to this day, the word browncoat means it's like Whovian or Trekkie. It's the biggest Firefly fan in the world. Everyone in the cast of Firefly, from Nathan Fillion onwards, have said it's the best thing they've ever done. They love it so much. And why the fans haven't just bandied together and just funded a whole new series of Firefly before it's too late, because we've already lost Ron Glass, who played Shepherd Book. We've got to have more Firefly. Thankfully, the Serenity movie came out, which tied up a lot of things, very stylishly, by the way. It's a great film. But Firefly, the show, is comfort. It's so much comfort. And again, very funny in places, very touching in places, so well made. The cast, there's 9 people in the cast, the main characters, and they all crackle. It's fantastic. If you haven't got I didn't think a space western would work, but this is kind of the Han Solo adventures without the aliens. Firefly, we love you so much. Shiny. And predictably at number 1, my go-to sci-fi of all time, Doctor Who. I can't pick any particular era, but being of a certain age, I grew up with the latter end of the 3rd Doctor. Tom Baker was probably my top Doctor of all time. Peter Davison was fantastic, and I'm getting to meet him next May. Can't wait. And even to today. Now it's had peaks and troughs, as any long-running show has done. It's longest-running British sci-fi show of all time, and I don't love all of it. It's like Star Wars. I don't love it all, but I love most of it. I love the general premise of it. It's so flexible. You've got a lead character who can change every couple of years. You've got time, space, dimensions. You've got all this kinds of stuff going on. It's mostly fun, and it talks about fighting good versus evil. And there's lots of people here who are just here because I do Doctor Who content, and I try not to do all Doctor Who content, but for once, let us all come together and appreciate the genius of the show, created by a little guy from New Zealand called Sydney Newman, who wanted a sci-fi show that wanted to be a little bit kind of educational. He famously said no little green men, and on the second story they put Daleks in it, and history was guaranteed. Doctor Who is my number 1 sci-fi show of all time. Okay, honourable mentions. Like I said, there were plenty of other shows, and as I've been reading this, you've probably gone, what about that? What about this? What about that? There are some shows that you probably love more than any on my list, but I haven't seen them, or I've seen them and thought, yeah, but it's not as good as the 10 on my list. But that 10 on my list is subject to change all the time. I've got a quick list of honourable mentions here because I would forget. I mean, again, a lot of these skew towards the 70s and 80s because of my age. The $6 Million Man. Who can forget the Bionic Man, Steve Austin, right? Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Again, slightly problematic, cancelled before its time, but had some really good things in it, and made a TV series out of the Terminator. Star Trek 1966. Now, you can't go wrong with Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, and Scotty, and Uhura, and Chekhov, but Star Trek, man. I've got such a big place in my heart for Star Trek, just as much as Star Wars. There are many Star Wars shows. There's The Mandalorian, there's Ahsoka, there's flipping Boba Fett, and there's all these kinds of Star Wars stuff. There's Clone Wars, there's Rebels, there's Resistance, and I do like a lot of Star Wars stuff. It hasn't shown up in my list really, although the first series of The Mandalorian is generally accepted to be sweet. It doesn't make my list because there are stuff that I think is better. Starship Troopers Roughnecks a I think early 2000s CGI series. I have about 5 or 6 discs of it. Rough CGI, very shiny, early CGI, I think done in something like Lightwave or 3D Studio Max. But it was just a fun watch, and it expanded on the universe we saw in the movies. It's not particularly connected to the movies, but it's closer to the stories told by Robert A. Heinlein in his books. But I really enjoy it. So again, it's a comfort watch. Dollhouse, another one from Joss Whedon. Dollhouse was a star vehicle for Eliza Dushku, who played Faith in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It also launched the careers of many, many other actors and actresses who went on to be in other Joss Whedon projects, Battlestar Galactica, Torchwood, all these kinds of things. It gave us Alan Tudyk for the first time before Firefly, and Dollhouse tells the story of a girl called Echo. That's all she's known as, and she has her mind regularly programmed and deprogrammed into having different skills, but she starts working out who she might actually be and why she's actually in the dollhouse. It's so good. It's so good. I must rewatch that a bit. And finally, Planet of the Apes. There was 2 TV series. There was the live action, and then there was the cartoon. The cartoon was very hokey indeed, but the live action series as a kid was Saturday morning required viewing. I love the movies. In fact, I think I love the 60s and 70s movies more than the current really, really good, perfect trilogy of the Andy Serkis trilogy and Kingdom. But Planet of the Apes, the TV series, has got Roddy McDowall, 2 pretty good charismatic leads who, as a kid, I used to think were Starsky and Hutch because they do look the same. But, you know, for a low budget shot in the California hills drama every week where these 2 humans and a chimp are on the run, Planet of the Apes, man, so good, so good. Anyway, that's been my top 10 sci-fi shows. If I do another one of these next Christmas Eve, you can bet your bottom dollar that will change, or things will be moving up and down the charts. Everything is in flux, everything is in motion, and I'm fairly sure that some of you guys are going to say in the comments, you forgot about this, or this is better than this. Hey, let's talk about it, right? Be nice. I've always said this in most of my videos. Be nice. We're not here to troll each other. We're not here to denigrate anyone else's choices. I just want people to be cool and be nice about it. If you're going to leave hate speech and horrible stuff, you will not get your comment posted. You can go elsewhere and do that stuff and have as much fun as you like ever. I'm not stopping you from being yourself. Just don't bring it here. I don't need it. Anyway, as I say, I'm shooting this on Christmas Eve. I've got nothing really to look forward to for Christmas, but it's just something about Christmas that makes you go, yay, no work. So anyway, have a great Christmas, everybody. If you're watching this after Christmas, I hope you had a great Christmas, and I will see you in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye then.